Hunt 'em Big with Steve Bartylla. Brought to you by Wildlife Research Center, the gold standard. Reconics, see what you've been missing. Get armed and deadly with Easton's FMJ arrows. The heater bodysuit, you stay warm or your money back. And Hunter's Safety System, saving lives is what we do.
I'm afraid it's time for me to jump up on a soapbox here. This is one show that, man, if I have any control over it, I'm going to do every stinking year. And that is, what is hunting supposed to be all about? Well, partially it's about management. As a matter of fact, as we've gotten rid of many of the predators, we have become the dominant predator for whitetails. If we don't manage the population, what ends up happening is the population builds, habitat destruction, disease, crash. Build, habitat destruction, disease, crash. One of the fundamental laws of biology is whenever a population gets too high, they wipe themselves out, not completely most times, but really hammer their numbers. They have a mass die-off due to either their own waste, using up all their resources, or disease. So management is a very, very important part of all this. Whether you realize it or not, the DNRs, the wildlife agencies are setting quotas for a reason. They're trying to keep that population in balance with the habitat. And since I'm off on this tangent, another thing to realize is as hunters, we want more and more and more deer. That's not good, because our habitat dictates how many deer we can support. When those deer numbers get really high, they destroy the habitat. They wipe out all their primary, very, very desirable food sources. Then they move on to the second tier and wipe that out, the third tier, fourth tier, on down the line to the point where they literally destroy the habitat. So management is a very important part of hunting. The other reason, putting meat on the table. That's a very solid reason, and heck, I've shot a lot of deer over the years simply to put in the freezer. Lastly, it's to have fun. And that's actually, these days, one of the more important aspects of this. This stuff is supposed to be fun. Do not get so wrapped up in this that you can't see the forest through the trees. This is nothing but a bonus. And please don't ever lecture anybody on, you shouldn't have shot that buck. Oh, that one would have been a good one in another year. No, you do not have the right to criticize anyone for shooting a legal deer. As long as they're doing it legally and ethically, you know what? More power to them. Lots of people don't have the same advantages that some of us have, particularly me. Yeah, I stick my chest out every single year, and I say, I spend 50% of my time every season hunting ground that anybody else can. It's either public ground or it's private that's enrolled into programs. And I'm out there, but yeah. I do that because I want to, because I enjoy it. And also because, quite honestly, I would feel like the biggest hypocritical jerk in the world to stand here and try to help others become better hunters if I never hunt like them myself. I'm telling you right now, I hunt some awesome ground that I manage, and it sure is nothing like public ground in no way, shape, or form. It is so easy for me to look so smart on that 4,000 acre piece of ground that I manage exclusively for producing top end bucks for a client. When you have a Pope and Young buck per 40 acres, you know what? You best kill a really good buck or there's something horribly wrong with you. Okay. People, we are a shrinking number. The outdoors women group isn't getting bigger with each passing year, despite the population of the world getting bigger. It's at least it's not getting bigger in America. It is getting smaller as we move to more and more an urban lifestyle. We need every single person out there. And besides, you know what? This stuff is supposed to be fun. That person that goes out 1, 2, 3 weekends a year, guess what? If they were going to hold out for some of the quality of bucks that we do, especially when they're hunting public ground, they'd spend a lifetime. More of them than not would spend a lifetime without ever shooting a flippin' deer. Let's focus on ourselves. Let's worry about ourselves and what we can control. We can't control what others do. And we don't have a right to. Sorry to get preachy, I didn't mean to offend anybody here, but this really is honestly important, and it could frankly devastate our sport. I get it. Especially when you're managing ground, it is frustrating as heck when that neighbor ends up shooting that 2.5-year-old, oh man, just beautiful buck that screams potential, but you know what? They have every right in the world to do it. As long as it's legal and ethical, we should be happy for them. We need to come together as a hunting community, as a community of outdoorsmen and women, period. And support each other instead of the anti-hunting crowd, the animal rights crowds doing their work for them. We don't have the numbers to be able to afford to do that. Besides, not everybody has it as good as we do. And if they don't have it as good as we do, why do we have the right to tell them what they should and shouldn't do? You go out there, you shoot the first buck the first deer that you're happy to shoot. And you know what? You don't let anybody tell you shouldn't. As long as it's legal and ethical, you can go tell them to jump off a dang cliff.